All right, my friends, welcome back to All Cars. I am John, and it is time for another Motorweek Retro Review reaction. This week it is the 2008 Honda Accord Coupe. This one was requested by a viewer, and I almost didn't do it. I kind of think I know what I'm going to say about this car. And as always, I do not watch these in advance. I want to watch these with you, just like we're sitting on a couch with our beverage of choice and enjoying a little remembrance. And this isn't my favorite, honestly. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought it made sense to go ahead and do this one. So please make yourself comfy and come take a trip down memory lane with me.
Davis.
Well, hello and welcome again to Motorweek. We're glad to have you with us. For over 30 years, the Honda Accord has stood for reliable, comfortable, and always willing family transport. The Accord sedan is indeed like an old friend. But there's another side to Accord, one that has a lot more sass and curves, and that would be the Accord Coupe. So does being the more provocative member of the Accord clan make it any less of a trusty companion?
So before we jump into it there, this is not my favorite version of the Accord. It lacks a certain elegance, right? Now, the Accord is mainstream, right? Maybe on the slightly sportier side of mainstream relative to, like, the Camry. But it's still just mainstream. It's not challenging luxury brands. This one, I don't know. There's something about it I never really loved. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not saying I wouldn't appreciate it. I'm not saying that in a world I wouldn't have chosen it or that I would have not liked it more than the Camry. But when you look at some of the other generations, this one just never really is one of my favorites.
Just about everyone agrees that the 8th generation 2008 Honda Accord sedan is a near-perfect family car choice. But for a somewhat wilder ride, we'd suggest trying the other Accord, the two-door coupe, that is. The Accord Coupe styling is certainly more dynamic than the sedan, looking closer to the Accord's 2007 Auto Show concept car. Virtually everything you see outside is unique. The aggressive projector beam headlights, grille, and hood, as well as the sleeker greenhouse and chiseled body panels. Finishing with a beefy back end and detailed taillights, the V6 adds a rear spoiler and dual exhaust. Wheels are either 17 or 18-inch alloys, no wheel covers here. All covering a wheelbase and length that grew about 3 inches with the redesign, yet is...
Okay, so, few things here. First off, looks like an Acura. And I kind of like it. I want to like it. The problem I have with the styling is twofold. First off, it's not really beautiful. It's attractive enough. It's aggressive enough. And I imagine if you're like, well, I need an Accord, but the 4-door is too dowdy, I'm going to get the 2-door. And look at this greenhouse, right? I can see that. I really, really can. And I will admit to a little bit of hypocrisy here. My first car was that 76 Buick 2-door, and my third car, after a Jeep, was a 83 Buick Regal 2-door. So there was a time when I loved 2-doors, but I grew to loathe them. This styling looks so much better, but they're just less functional in terms of whether people need to get in the back seat or whether you want to put stuff in the back seat or whether you're just trying to get out in a crowded parking lot. 2-doors are not as much fun, but that's a personal choice, right? So I get why people would like this. It is a sedan in 2-door form, and you're buying that purely for the styling portion of it because it is less friendly. And I think this looks pretty good from that perspective until you get to the rear end. And I really, really dislike the rear end. The way from the bumper up, it tilts in like this. Very reminiscent to me of the Chrysler 300M. And it's okay, but I don't love it. So overall, the styling is pretty sharp. And if you're only buying it for styling, it's fine. It's good. It's a good choice. But I think once we get to the sportiness side of it, there's just better options. Let's see.
Is still shorter than the sedans. Front drive power is mostly shared with the sedan, starting with a 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine rated at 190 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. Next up is a 3.5-liter V6 with 271 horsepower and 254 pound-feet of torque.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I like these engines. They're Honda engines. I trust them. I've talked to so many people who've had Hondas or Camrys, and they are like, the four-cylinder is just so dog slow. But I've got a four-cylinder Honda, all right, 2014. It's fine. And so I see the appeal of the V6. You want more power, but it does seem to not fit what the cars are made for, of reliable, simple transportation. You're going for something sportier with more aggression to it. And it just leaves me thinking maybe there's better choices if that's what you want, because you're getting a hopped up consumer vehicle, right? I'm fine with the engines. That's what I'm saying.
But there is one powertrain change that sets the coupe apart. V6 cars with a 6-speed manual forego VCM cylinder deactivation to improve low and mid-range response. Horsepower is the same, but torque rate's 251 pound-feet. And it is the V6 manual coupe that we aim down our track for a quick 0 to 60 of 5.8 seconds, then a quarter mile in 13.9 seconds at 101 miles per hour. The V6 is more torquey than ever, with its fast revs matching the positive and well-placed gearing precisely. Nice. The coupe shares the sedan's modified double wishbone front suspension and new multi-link rear suspension with 40% greater lateral rigidity than the previous gen. Vehicle stability assist with traction control is standard. For a large front driver, the coupe still turns in quickly. Grippy tires keep it from sliding around so you can really push it. And though steering is quick, it's not overboosted. Stopping power comes from four-wheel disc with ABS and brake assist. Fade-free halts from 60 to 0 averaged a fine 126 feet. So at the track, the V6 Coupe is easily the leader of the Accord pack.
That's really impressive overall. The acceleration, and when you watch it through the slalom, there no drama at all. Just little roll, and it goes about its business. And stopping, not shoot fireworks into the sky, amazing, but very, very, very solid. I think watching all of that as a whole, my thought is, while they say it was a large front driver, overall it looks like a smaller car, especially from the rear to me. And I will say here, there's a little Pontiac in the back of this. I don't know if anybody else sees it, but there's a little Pontiac in the back of this. But generally, just an exceptional platform. And that's what you expect from Honda as they've progressed from the 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s. Just an exceptional overall engineered platform, and that's what it delivers here. Pretty impressive.
Inside, this two-door is noticeably roomier than before. The forward-sweeping dash shared with the sedan also adds to a more expansive feel. Yet there is still somewhat of a cockpit atmosphere to the coupe, complementing the car's performance. Gauges are large and straightforward. The coupe seats offer greater lateral support in anticipation of more spirited driving. Center stack controls are a little confusing, and the optional satellite navigation system includes a Euro trait we're less fond of, Honda's first multiple function dial controller. On the flip side, one of the coupe's smartest revisions is a welcomed 1.2-inch addition to rear legroom. Trunk capacity, however, drops to a just ample 11.9 cubic feet.
Very interesting. From a purely aesthetic point of view, I love the interior. If you just take a glance at it, the tan interior with the darker top there, everything laid out, very Honda and very, very appealing to me. That is what I like. But once they look at that center stack there and the mass of buttons, the infotainment up atop, that's kind of why I don't like this generation. I don't love this generation. I think the next one's kind of icky, but it's okay. But it's not as simple to use as you would expect from Honda. They seem to be overwhelmed with the choices of what they had to offer consumers. And I think a lot of manufacturers had that problem at this time. I think Honda addressed it pretty well and made it attractive. There's nothing there, if we were to go back in time to 2008, that I would look at this and be like, oh, I'm absolutely not driving this one. But looking back at it, it's okay. I guess it's okay. I like the interior. I don't love it. Back seat, good leg room. I'm surprised at the headroom. That rear roof sloped down so much. I really expected more headroom problem. And I don't have a problem with the trunk, actually. It's a little on the small side, but with the back seat, more than enough to head up to the mountains for a weekend.
Government fuel economy ratings are acceptable for the V6 manual coupe, 17 city, 25 highway. We saw 22.1 miles per gallon in normal driving on regular grade gas. The energy impact score is 17.1 barrels of oil consumed per year. Pricing for the Accord Coupe begins at a moderate $23,330 for the LXS, but to enjoy the coupe's potential, you have to opt for the EXL V6 manual at a much pricier $28,980. Navigation adds $2,200 more. Decidedly more provocative than the popular sedan, the new 2008 Honda Accord Coupe is unique in all the right ways, while still sharing the four-door's best features. It adds a healthy dose of zing to what is already an immensely successful and reliable nameplate.
So I wish they did some comparisons there, either with the Camry or a BMW 3 Series, honestly. And that's my hang-up about this. There's plenty of reasons to buy a Honda. Great reliability, great ergonomics, typically lots of space, value for the money. But I struggle with why someone would want this. And I think that's more of a personal thing. That's more of a me thing. I would be more of the four-door automatic 4-cylinder. I'm buying this for reliability and efficiency. Stepping up to the 2-door for the style, the aggressiveness, and the V6 for the power, to me feels like really you should step into a different class. It's a great car. It's a reliable car. It's respected. That's the word. But there's a lot of people I feel that bought this that maybe they were really wanting something else, but they weren't willing to spend it. They just wanted a tiny bit more excitement in their day-to-day drive, from style or from performance, stepping up to that V6. I don't love it. I don't hate it by any stretch. And between this and a Camry, I'd pick this all day long. And from my earlier experiences of having two doors, and if I was still in the place where I wanted a two-door sedan, yeah, this is appealing. I think it's really good looking. That red looks fantastic. The tan interior looks fantastic, and it's got all the benefits of being a Honda Accord. But looking back at it, man, I just don't see it. I really don't. And that kind of pains me a little bit because I'm such a fan of the Accord overall. This just is a model that I don't really understand where the people who are buying it are coming from, other than just saving money and wanting a little bit more excitement over that 4-cylinder option. I don't know. Maybe if I did this video in a different day, maybe I would feel completely different. But today, it's okay. Doesn't really make my list. Let me know what you think below, guys. Appreciate you being here.